President Trump signed a new executive order allowing alternative investments in the 401k market. Now, is that good for you or not? Hi, I'm Doug Ray, president and founder of the Wealth Guardians and the Ray Financial Group.
And I'm Brice Payne, and you've entered The Vault, the Wealth Guardians video series on all things pertaining to retirement planning. In this episode, we're going to talk about the new legislation that may bring more investment opportunities for you in your employer-sponsored plans. Don't forget to click on those like and subscribe buttons down below the screen there to catch future episodes of The Vault with Doug, Garrett, and myself. And let's go ahead and get started on this topic, Doug. New investment opportunities inside 401ks and other employer-sponsored plans. Sounds good.
Yeah, it does sound good. You know, generally 401ks, and I'm talking about 401ks, accounts like 403bs, those company-sponsored retirement plans for folks. Historically, they've had basically just a number of mutual funds and ETFs.
Maybe some company stock.
Yeah, typical target date type funds.
Yeah, that's about it.
And that's about it. And most people had a choice of maybe a dozen or so options in there. You know, most folks really have wanted more positions to choose from. And, you know, this is going to be giving them that opportunity to have different types of options. It's going to be a slow process.
Right.
It's not going to happen overnight. And the fact is, your company may not even offer these when they're available.
There's no law saying they have to. It's just the opportunity to.
Yeah, it could take months, even years for these things to get into the 401k marketplace. So, what kind of alternative investments are we talking about here? Did you know in this country that private companies are larger than publicly traded companies that have over $100 million in revenue? In fact, 75% of the companies out there that have $100 million in revenue or more are private companies.
Did not know that.
They're not publicly traded companies.
Okay.
And until now, you know, the average consumer couldn't invest in any of these private companies.
Yeah, hard to get to.
It's hard to get to them. It doesn't offer diversification. It doesn't offer liquidity. Maybe the investment minimums have been just...
you have to be an accredited investor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So typically in the past, only institutions and hedge funds have historically invested in these asset classes. Now, here's what I found interesting. The track record for these private companies has been very impressive, outpacing publicly investment companies by a good margin. You know, as I said before, the challenges that face the individual to get an investment like this is the diversification, the liquidity, and the amount of funds that you had to invest. So if you'd had the alternative in your 401k to have an investment like a mutual fund or an ETF inside your 401k that invested in these kinds of alternatives, private companies, that kind of thing, then that could really give you some added diversification and the potential for higher returns. Now, what kind of alternatives can be in some of these funds? Well, we can have real estate. We already have that now in certain funds and ETFs.
Right.
But you could have things like apartment buildings. You could have medical plazas. You could even have subdivisions. You know, BlackRock already invests in subdivisions. So you could have things like that. You could even have oil drilling companies invested in there. How about precious metals, gold and silver mining companies?
All your alternative investments as well.
All of that. And even rare earth materials could be a part of this. Now, don't get me wrong. These types of investments offer a substantial risk. But they also offer huge upside. And having said that, obviously, if you are offered these alternative investments in your 401k, you want to go at it with an asset allocation model in mind that puts a small portion of your total assets in these types of companies because the risk is there.
So you're officially saying don't put 100% in silver mines at this point in your 401k.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I suppose, Doug, another nicety about this would be, let's say somebody had been interested for a while in investing in private companies. Where do you do that? I mean, you don't open up your Edward Jones account or something and find those there. So now that they're available to, or might be available to people in their 401ks, that takes half the hard legwork out of it for them.
Yeah, it does. I mean, private individuals up till now have basically been limited to offerings that are only for accredited investors who have a net worth of $1 million and up and 200,000 in income. And again, they're still met with diversification and liquidity issues in those investments. You know, to my mind, just having a stock and bond portfolio in your 401k is not true diversification. You know, they don't react. Alternative investments don't react the same way to outside pressures like a stock and bond portfolio. Let's take the example of bonds in a portfolio versus having some private credit.
Okay.
Those two would react differently to, let's say, the Federal Reserve the movement in interest rates. That way, if we had these alternative investments, we could get true diversification in our 401k portfolios. And as I said before, the potential for higher returns.
Excellent.
So I think that's about covers it on this new executive order for alternative investments in these 401k plans. When it comes, I mean, just keep looking for it, but it'll take a while.
And don't get carried away. That's our main takeaway here. Let's keep our head about what our investments are in our 401k. After all, that is our retirement savings, and our retirement could change significantly if we make some bad investment choices in there.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Vault. Again, those like and subscribe buttons hanging out below the screen there. Go ahead and click on those at any point to capture all the future episodes of The Vault with Doug Garrett and myself. As for this episode, I'm Brice Payne.
I'm Doug Ray.
And this has been The Vault. Hey, it's Brice Payne with the Wealth Guardians. Thanks for watching our weekly series, The Vault. Do you know we also have a weekly radio show where we discuss all things retirement? You can listen to the Wealth Guardians radio show live on 94.5 WPTI in the Triad on Saturday mornings. But if you miss the live broadcast, you can also catch it on our YouTube channel or find us on your favorite podcast platform each Saturday morning. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen so you can get notifications when we release new episodes. Want you to remember, good retirement plans do not create themselves. We'll talk to you soon.